Saul Leiter is undoubtedly one of the greatest and most influential street photographers of all time. Can we please all agree on that? But what exactly makes Saul Leiter's photography so unique? Today I want to analyze 5 of his most iconic photos with you, uncover what makes them so special, and explore what Leiter did differently from other photographers. The goal? To learn from his work and see more than others on our next street photography walk. Welcome to Street Photography Icons, learn to see like Saul Leiter. Before diving into the individual photos, let's take a moment to understand what makes Saul Leiter's body of work so extraordinary. In an era when art photography was synonymous with black and white images, Leiter had the courage to shoot in color. He also ignored the famous mantra, if your photos aren't good enough, you're not close enough. By using telephoto lenses, he opened up a new world of composition, challenging the prevailing belief that street photography required a 28mm 35 or at most a 50mm lens. So Leiter was determined to do things differently. Let's take a closer look at the first photo. A fogged up window, likely at a bus stop. Behind it, a person stands centrally with another figure off to the left. In the background, behind the silhouette of the central figure, there's a yellow car. What immediately stands out is the deliberate distortion created by the fog glass. Most photographers might have shot the scene from the side to capture the characters more clearly, but Leiter sought distortion, subjectivity and layers in his photography. Notice the part of the glass where the main figure stands. It's been wiped clear, likely by hand. I strongly suggest Leiter himself did this, as the fully fogged glass might have been too obscuring for his vision. What does this teach us? It's okay to make small adjustments to a scene to enhance its impact. This is what sets street photography apart from pure documentary photography. Another detail many of us might have handled differently is the figure on the left. Many would have shifted the camera slightly to the right, giving the man in the hat the sole spotlight. But by including the other person, the image feels less staged, more like a realistic, dreamlike urban moment. And yet the man in the hat remains the focal point, thanks to the yellow background framing his head. This shows us that we can emphasize the subject not just through aperture or lighting, but also by carefully choosing the background. A man sitting in a red car, his hand illuminated while his face remains in shadow. In the foreground, an object, perhaps a mailbox, reflects the car. The scene feels mysterious. Who is this man? A gangster waiting for his victim? A businessman stuck in traffic? If Leiter had waited for the man's face to catch the sunlight, or worse, interacted with him to make it happen, the entire mystique of the scene would have been lost. This teaches us an important lesson. Sometimes it's better to leave certain details of a photo hidden. Shadows and missing elements invite viewers to linger and interpret the image for themselves. The reflective objects in the foreground adds another layer, making the viewer feel like a secret observer. This image transforms an otherwise mundane moment into a masterful abstraction. As photographers, we should always ask ourselves, could leaving something out make my photo even stronger? This image was likely shot through a car window. Not from inside the car, but with a telephoto lens from outside, like Saul Leiter always did it. It's winter, there's snow, and on the far side of the car, 2 figures with red umbrellas walk by. To the left, behind a beautiful yellow car, 2 more people with umbrellas appear, while on the right, another figure crosses the street. At first glance, Leiter's image often seems minimalist, but closer inspection reveals layers of detail. He could have settled for a simple composition of one person walking past the car, but he waited. By waiting, he captured multiple figures on different planes, adding depth and complexity. Many photographers would have been satisfied with just one subject, but Leiter shows us that patience takes off. So what's the takeaway of this photo? When you find a good spot, wait 5 more minutes than you originally had intended. Often you can turn a good photo into a greater one. A street scene viewed through a dark foreground, like a small stage opening. In the center, a woman with her hair up, wearing a black top and sunglasses. Her pose, arm near her face, the curve of her back forms the graphic anchor of the image. Behind her, a bright shimmering strip reveals a car. To the right, a passerby in red adds movement. Many would have cropped her out, but Leiter kept her in, grounding the scene in reality. I think the key here is that Leiter doesn't avoid obstacles, he uses them. The blurred foreground frames the scene, the gesture carries the image, and the background adds meaning. Here's what I think we can learn. You don't need to get closer to create intensity. Frame your subject through obstacles like doorways, curtains, or window panes. Let 50 to 70% of the frame remain dark or blurred if the opening is well defined. Wait for a background that complements your subject. A bright strip, a solid color, or a bold shape behind the subject can be more impactful than a wide open aperture. Gesture trumps facial expression. A striking pose, an arm's angle, a neck's curve, a head's tilt can be enough. Embrace supporting characters. The person in red makes the scene feel alive and anchored in time. Many would have excluded her, but she keeps the image somehow dynamic. And use blur as a compositional tool, not just as an effect. The blurred foreground isn't just for decoration, it shapes the geometry, forming a frame that draws the eye to the center. Once again, Saul Leiter reminds us that street photography can be subjective, layered, and like a strange poem. Not just documentation, but a personal vision of our surroundings. So this scene feels like a dream. There's no clear reality, only layers, reflections, colors, and overlapping figures. In the foreground, bursts of blue and orange, perhaps a plant or a sculpture. Behind them, silhouettes of passers-by, one in red, others in darker tones. Above, yellow globes from a street lamp float like suns. Everything blends together, nothing is definitive. Many photographers would have tried to impose order on the scene, finding a clear focus or a distinct subject. Leiter did the opposite, like he always did. He embraced the confusion, letting the glass reflections and overlaps create a poetic, almost painterly composition. So what's the lesson here? Don't shy away from chaos. Let reflections and layers work for you. From this order you can create something really fantastic. So Saul Leiter's work teaches us that street photography doesn't have to be literal or straightforward. It can be abstract, subjective, and something only you understand and see. So the next time we're out with our cameras, I think we should embrace layers, frames, and reflections. Wait a little bit longer and don't be afraid to use longer lenses. Or what do you think? Please also check my other Saul Leiter videos. See you in the next one.